Tensions in Soweto seem to have calmed after widespread looting in the region. We know that the looting was sparked by the shooting of a 14-year-old boy. The boy was shot by a foreign national. He says that the boy and a group of his peers were trying to break into the Somali shopkeeper's store. We know that police said that the looting that followed, which included 90 stores owned by foreign nationals being raided, we know that police say that it wasn't xenophobia so much as common criminality. But South Africans seem to think that it is very much similar to the 2008 xenophobic violence experienced in South Africa. I'm joined in studio by James Chapman. He's an attorney at the University of Cape Town's Refugees Rights Unit. He's going to speak to us about xenophobia in South Africa. I'm also joined in studio by Noxolo Mafu. She is News 24's producer. Noxolo, thank you for joining us. And James, thank you for joining us today in studio.
Good afternoon, and thank you to your listeners.
Noxolo, why don't you kick us off by showing us what happened on social media?
With pleasure. So there's been a lot of attention on social media on what's been happening around parts of Gauteng, and we took to Twitter to see what people were saying. And we've got Dumi K here, who says, surely the South African government recognizes this as xenophobia and not mere criminality, as they have been proposing. We also have comments from Justice Maluleke, who has another point of view, who says, authority says there's no xenophobia in South Africa. I agree. Some of the shops looted were owned by locals, and that we should stop sending the wrong message. And also finally, just to get a sense of what people are saying, we've got Nicholas Patience B, who says, SA Media is working hard to turn hashtag xenophobia to hashtag Soweto attacks. We see you, claim your nature, and don't deny it.
So James, we've got South Africans who have two very different views of what happened in Soweto. So why don't you explain to us, just take us back to kind of a very grassroots level, what is xenophobia and how do we know if what we're experiencing in the country is xenophobic?
Okay, well, xenophobia basically can be defined as the unreasonable fear of foreigners, foreign nationals. And there are a number of instances where something that is xenophobic may at the same time also be a criminal act. And so you can understand that there may be sort of discrepancies in reporting. Obviously, if every incident involving a foreign national is considered xenophobia, then one is one over-reporting, and two, they are kind of cultivating a almost idea of crisis incorrectly, because perhaps an incident involving a foreign national might involve a civil dispute or a straightforward criminal dispute and have nothing to do with the unreasonable fear of a foreign national, which is what xenophobia is. On the other hand, it may be argued that the idea of reporting anything as xenophobia shades South Africa in a poor light, and so therefore there might be underreporting, and there might be instances where the police are almost advised that when they're taking down cases and opening dockets, they open dockets for specific crimes. They open a docket for harassment, or a docket for theft, but they don't specifically open a docket with respect to xenophobia to try to almost play it down. So there's both sides of it. I think that it's definitely fair to say that there is the danger of over-reporting incidents that are not xenophobic as xenophobia, and conversely under-reporting and trying to shift everything outside of the ambit of xenophobia.
And I suppose this is what South Africans are grappling with. Do we deem attacks on 90 stores by foreign nationals as xenophobic?
Well, I mean, I presume you mean attacks on stores by South African nationals upon foreign nationals, not by foreign nationals.
Sorry, that's correct.
I mean, I think that it would be it's reasonably safe to say that the 2008 xenophobic incidents were xenophobic incidents. They were mass-scale looting and displacement. And from everything I've read, that would support the situation in Soweto would be the same, where there's in excess of 90 shops having been looted, where you have 120 or so people being arrested on the basis of these attacks. That it doesn't serve anyone to try to shift it away and say, well, it's not xenophobia, there's nothing happening, there's no anti-foreign sentiment. So yes, it should be reported, it should be spoken about, but I think also efforts need to be made to look for solutions as well. Yeah, and that's what would be my take on it.